If you just joined us, you're watching Issuenite. We talk about important and serious issues of the day. Why don't we get on to our next set of issues, which we call bubble
issues.
hockey
Bubble hockey.
issues. I guess bubble hockey has become so popular that the people actually playing the bubble hockey game want to become players. Is that right, Mike? Is that what I'm understanding?
No, actually, you're way off, Jay. Actually, what it is they're taking real human beings.
Yeah.
Who is?
They,
Okay.
whoever they are, the
with
guys, yeah, and they're basically saying, you know what, we're gonna create we can't do 3D. You know, we don't have the technology yet. We want to take, I don't know what they're calling it. We didn't come up with a name for it. But they're going to take these people and they're going to hook them up to these, I don't know how they're going to jolt them, kind of like mice or whatever. But they're going to be hooked up to the Sony controllers, you know, Xbox or I mean, that's Microsoft.
So not levers. It's more electronics.
It's
not
electronic.
levers.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, but it depends on the game, Tony. But they want, like, they're going to start with bubble hockey, okay? And that actually is going to be very mechanical. They're going to take real people, make them into bubble hockey players, okay?
Oh.
Okay.
Using epoxy resins and stuff, you can actually
sure.
stiffen arms and have, it could be a reverse.
People are doing that. They're actually, trying to form their arms into right angles, and then they say, "Okay, Joe, pour the epoxy on my arms," and then they do that, and then their other buddy slides a hockey stick in there, and then their other buddy has to take a C-clamp and clamp down their hand, pour the epoxy, and again apply the C-clamp and leave it overnight.
Actually, Jay, not completely accurate. Close. They're actually having it. They're actually putting the epoxy here and having it hold something. Okay, so that, and then they're drilling a hole through so that the stick can slide through. Because sometimes those sticks can break or fly, so they're able to replace it.
That's
so
smart.
you're gonna have different people. You're gonna have the goalie and stuff, and then they're gonna create a big dome size of HSBC Arena to play in, and they're gonna have these big mechanical things. Now they're actually gonna retrofit the ice. It's they're gonna cut into the ice, okay, because you have the sliding things, right?
Yeah.
For the people, and then you're gonna, you have to epoxy on yourself to the the whole channel thing,
Okay.
and then they're gonna have little kids with the regular size controllers, but they're gonna be hydraulic, so you turn it and it's gonna turn the person in real life.
So the little one, the little turny thing turns the bigger turny thing using hydraulics, which moves the big person.
Which moves the person, right.
Up and down the ice or the simulated ice or whatever needs to be.
And they got the dome, which brings up some problems. DJ, they have they're gonna not have air. I mean, the bubble hockey is sealed. I mean, it's a sealed environment, so they're only allowed a certain amount of air.
Now, are there air vents under the ice that they're cutting?
No, it's pretty scale. Actually, they're gonna take HSBC and put it on top of a little stilt thing.
Okay.
So it's gonna be in the air, the whole arena, just like. And then there's actually gonna be these gigantic quarters.
So
that they're gonna be able to
is
use.
the problem the floating or the problem the oxygen?
The oxygen in general.
I think the floating
eating,
is
going to
actually
the bathroom.
You
all
think the
those
floating
things.
is a bigger problem?
Floating is a problem because they might have copyright issues with air hockey.
Oh.
Well, they're thinking, they're like, well, what we could do, because this is a bubble, it's kind of like a greenhouse, players are breathing out carbon dioxide, we're going to put plants in there.
Yeah.
And that'll help supply the oxygen
like
for the players.
Biosphere. That's right. They did that.
Yeah.
The biosphere too.
It's going to be a bubble spear.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm concerned with is the actual play. Like, what exactly happens, like, when a penalty happens?
Okay, well,
Oh.
penalties don't happen in bubble hockey. I mean, you can slash as much as you want to somebody. And actually what they're going to do, and it's kind of, there's ethical problems here, they're going to leave the shins exposed.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that
The referees are very lax. They're very lax.
So, you could be whacking on a guy's knee, and it could be causing a lot of pain.
There's
so
no penalty at all.
Well, no, not really. I mean, because what are you doing in bubble hockey? I mean, you can hit the machine.
I was thinking maybe instead of taking a player out, you can leave a player in there, but he's not frozen up. He can actually do moves.
Oh, I see.
Except he's got to stick to Michael Jackson moonwalk moves.
I like it.
Ooh.
So he's got to go backwards.
Yeah.
That's going to be hard with the resin, though, isn't it? I mean,
Well, the resin certain parts of his body.
Is like maybe it's a little melted or it's not
So he's got-
fully there.
show
So
it.
Yeah,
he
but
can still.
David, I think, the problem with that, though, it takes away from the kids, because the kids are trying to control the lever. If you take the guy out of the epoxy, then this guy, unfortunately, his free will comes into play.
That's true.
And he's going to want to do what he needs to do.
Yeah.
Might even want to run out.
Yeah,
and
I might
do
want
whatever.
my quarterback. I mean, if I'm trying to score and my guy is like Michael Jacksoning backwards,
Right.
like a defenseman.
Yeah, Michael Jackson could be.
You would have a
dangerous
case
with
there,
the
I
kids.
think. I mean,
Yeah.
if you
If
you brought that to
small
court, I
court.
would think there's a statute that says if you pay for some guy whether it's free will or not. I mean, to move a certain way, he needs to move a certain way. You paid that quarter, he needs to operate that way.
Yeah, contractual law.
No, and he signed that.
The thing about all this,
I don't think
guys,
you should be giving legal advice over the air, though.
Well, it's public access.
just illegal advice. The thing about this is they really want to be conservative about. First off, they don't want people leaving. Like once you sign for life. I mean, you're a bubble hockey player for life. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they don't want people leaving. So they really want to epoxy up the body so that it's really not possible to
You
leave.
really want to keep them up in a bubble.
You want to keep them up in the bubble.
Right.
They're not going to want to leave. They're not going to have anything in life after they're epoxied. I mean, they're just gonna. This is what they're gonna do. I mean, they're gonna be stars.
Okay.
But and eating's a problem. I mean, the exterior body's obviously epoxy, so you're not the interior, so you're not able to gain any weight. You really got to keep your weight down.
Tom, what is the physiological issues with pouring epoxy on yourself and maintaining a shape for a long time in a biosphere bubble without much oxygen?
Bubble sphere.
Bubble sphere. Sorry.
A couple of thoughts. One is, the absorption of the resin through the natural skin. That would be a problem. The other is static posture, static loading on the body. Like you can't move.
Right.
You get stiff.
You do.
You really get stiff. And without, exercise, that could cause
Stiffness.
lower back problems and, muscle joint pain and so on.
Okay.
The other problem, Jay, is the kids that have been playing recently, they're really jamming on it, Jay. I mean, they're really, really going back and forth, and people are getting headaches and concussions, and, it's really jolting
Like
them.
whiplash, except only internal. Like your brain bounces around inside your head. 'cause
Right.
Your head's not gonna
exactly.
go forward.
And also, like little Joey plays like every Friday, and he just does a spin thing, and he just keeps spinning around and around.
Well, that's a
DJ, you're a big hockey fan. What would it?
Huge.
What would it? What would that feel like to be spun around over and over again? With
I
a
don't
hockey
think I would
stick?
like that. That would be dizzying.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of guys that I know that we put them on a stick and we spin them, and they afterwards we ask them, "How's it feel?" They say, "No,
Not good, huh?
That's all they say.
But I mean, they're getting paid a lot of money. I mean, they're getting paid in quarters. I mean, lots of them. I mean, a lot of people are playing, so they're getting cuts in
and
quarters.
those quarters add up. And I mean,
Canadian and the 50 different states for quarters.
And eventually they'll be able to spend their quarters. I mean, not for a while, but eventually that'll happen.
And look what else you're getting. You got job security. I mean,
true.
you can't be replaced.
Right.
Sign a contract, and you've got all the fame that goes along with it.
Yeah.
So, that's all cool, and that's their choice. What I don't like is that the fans, the boo button, the fans are actually being hooked up electronically so that they're zapped to boo at that time. So if you're a spectator and a kid, Joey hits the boo button, everyone's jolted into saying boo.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about the boo button, but it's been figured out and compensated. If you can make a good shot, you get the applause.
Right.
And you got 5 times as much applause as you do boos. You're only limited to 3, right?
Yeah,
3 boos.
Yep.
And so it's programmed that you get 15 hoorays.
Right.
So it psychologically, you don't ever want to not give criticism where criticism's due, otherwise you don't grow. So I think that
Deep, Tony.
Yeah.
Well, some of these guys need it. I mean, some of these guys aren't responding. They're not skating fast. They're not working to their potential. And, they signed a contract. They were drafted. And, I mean, if I'm going to put in my 50 cents, I want performance. And if I don't get performance, I am going to hit the boo button.
Right, right.
So
you just hope that, after everyone leaves, I feel for these people. I mean, they're just sitting on the ice, And if you're talking to somebody, like it's great if you're aimed towards them. But a lot of times, they're not being considerate. They're leaving them just turned away, so you can't quite see the person. You see them in their peripheral
That's
just a
just
little
wrong.
bit. Talking, how you doing, Jay? And you're over there. I mean, it's be considerate. At least face.
Well, yeah.
Put
I mean,
on a
some guys
movie
they
or
turn
something.
two guys, so they're real close to their face to face, and they got to stay there the whole night.
Well,
and they just played against this guy.
I know.
They don't want to be face to face with them.
Well, the problem with the movie is the jumbotron's up there. They can't turn their heads. I mean, the epoxy.
They've got to do something.